This week, I'm in Juarez, Mexico, statistically the deadliest city on the planet. $40 billion worth of drugs are smuggled from Mexico into the US every year. Thousands are dying as rival cartels fight the police, the army, and each other in a battle to control these lucrative smuggling routes. I'm going into Juarez to find out if there's any way out of the cycle of terror and intimidation that has turned this border town into a killing zone and brought the north of Mexico to the brink of civil war. That bridge you can see in the distance connects the United States of America to Mexico. And if you were to come over that bridge into the US, you'd be entering the town of El Paso, the second safest city in the whole of the United States of America. Alternatively, if you were to head south over that bridge, you'd be entering Mexico and the city of Juarez, currently the most dangerous city on the planet. Last year, 2,650 people were killed in drug-related incidents. The 2,000-mile-long border between the United States and Mexico divides two very different cultures. Juarez's geographical location has made it a center for smuggling for decades. But the recent increase in bloodshed has made its powerful neighbor extremely nervous. Before crossing into Juarez, I'm going to find out what America is doing to prevent the violence from seeping across the border. Standing right on the international border, Isabel Mullins leads the US Custom and Border Protection Unit, and she isn't shy when it comes to confronting the problem head-on.
You think that they're just window washers and vendors, but in reality, they're conducting surveillance against our own operations in here. The majority of the ones that are hanging around here are the Barrio Seca gang members.
Right.
And we've got information that they want to take control of this port.
Right.
We're not going to let them do that. And I guess one of the biggest challenges that we face with them being here is that as the traffic gets, less and less, they start moving in, and before you know it, they're on their cell phones and they're saying, okay, this officer at lane 2.
He doesn't look as sharp as the officer in lane 3, so go for lane 2, etc.
Absolutely, that's exactly
right.
Our mission is keep terrorists from entering our country, keep criminals from entering. El Paso, right next door, we're the second safest city in the nation, and yet Ciudad Juarez is one of the most violent in the world. How do we do it? Front line of defense. We're the gatekeepers of America.
I'm now leaving the safety of the USA and crossing into Juarez.
Are you guys doing a documentary, or what are you guys doing?
Yeah. We'll make a documentary. We're going to spend a lot of time in Juarez. We're going to interview the mayor of Juarez, yeah.
Did you know it's kind of dangerous out there?
Well, I spent a lot of time in Afghanistan.
I think it's worse than Afghanistan.
The first thing that hits you is just how many uniformed armed men there are on the streets. 10,000 army and federal police have been drafted into Juarez to confront the organized crime groups known as cartels. The cartels have become incredibly rich and powerful from transporting huge amounts of narcotics through Mexico into the US and beyond. They defend their interests through a policy known as silver or lead. Those who refuse to accept their bribes are killed with a sadistic brutality intended to frighten and intimidate anyone who stands in their way. I'm on my way to meet the mayor of Juarez, who is responsible for calling in the new reinforcements. But before we get there, we run into a roadblock. Can you tell us what's happened? What incident? What's happened?
Desconocemos qué pudo haber sido el ataque, pero nada más, lo único que nosotros vemos ahí en la escena es que hay dos personas del sexo masculino, una de aproximadamente unos 25 años, otra de aproximadamente unos 70.
And were they shot in the head?
In the head, en todo el cuerpo, all the body.
Many of the police disguise their identities. I was soon to find out that there's a very good reason for this. That's a homicide detective who's going to be investigating this case. Had this been yesterday, his boss would be investigating this case. But his boss was shot dead 2 hours ago. Reason given? Apparently, he was very good at finding out who shot people here. And the powers that be, the illegal powers that be, didn't like that, so they had him killed. And that's why that man is wearing a mask, so no one gets to see exactly what he looks like. The shocking reality of everyday life in Juarez becomes apparent as the homicide detective uses a picture on his mobile phone to identify the victim to his family. During Mayor Ferez's term in office, there have been 6,000 murders in the city.
Thank you for agreeing to talk to us. You're responsible for calling the army into Juarez, is that correct?
Right.
Can you explain to me why you did that?
For about 15 years, corruption and organized crime has just been eating away at the police forces to the point that the police was actually working for the cartels. They were doing their jobs.
The police were actually working as sicarios for the cartels.
Right. They were, many of the killings were done by police officers, and others were protected by police officers. And that was a tremendous part of the problem. We needed to do a cleanup. We've done in Juarez the biggest cleanup there's been in Mexico. We basically fired half of the police force within the last couple of years, so that we now have a police department that fights criminals instead of helping criminals.
The mayor was very open about the power of the cartels and the corruption that runs through Mexican society. Although we can see the United States from his window, life and death on this side of the border is very different. Even with the new presence of the army and the federal police, the murder rate rises by the day. This city has witnessed so many barbaric killings in the last few years that it has almost become numb to them. However, in January 2010, one horrific incident touched everyone, even Felipe Calderon, the president of Mexico.
Adrián. Horacio.
Horacio.
Huicho.
Huicho.
Él es Jesús.
All right, did he survive, yeah?
Sí.
Oh,
Pero
right.
mataron a su papá.
Edwin and his girlfriend Brisa were celebrating a friend's 16th birthday when around 6 masked gunmen arrived at the house and started shooting.
Y, o sea, no dijeron nada, no nos dijeron nada, ni arriba las manos, ni nada, o sea, llegaron disparando. Ya como nos vieron a todos los que nos acorralamos para allá, se fueron atrás de nosotros y ahí nos llegaron disparándole a todo, y cuando se les acabaron las balas empezaron a cargar otra vez las pistolas. Yo recibí 11.
Y yo recibí 3.
No quiero perder. Ya se sabe que están cerrando por lo mismo los negocios. Están cerrando todo porque tienen miedo.
Me di cuenta que abrieron una llave al agua, pero era pura sangre. Así.
La sangre se venía así como en laguitos, en charrito. Empecé a sentir caliente, lo saltaba y
Caliente.
de otras personas.
And how many people were killed?
16, 17.
17 people killed.
Edwin and Brisa had to move away from the neighborhood where the massacre took place and seek refuge elsewhere.
One straight for your ankle, and the exit wound is?
¿Dónde salió?
Por el talón.
The heel, there.
But I went back to the scene of the massacre to see how local residents are coping with the loss. Nobody has yet been charged with the murders.
There's an image here that's been used quite a lot in this area. It's Felipe Calderón, the president, who many people here believe was responsible for a lot of the violence because he doesn't do anything about it. His sash has got the pig's head on it, and out of his mouth he's carrying a rope that's strangling Juarez, and he's allowing Juarez to run with blood.
Luis Maria Davila lost two sons, Jose Luis, age 16, and Marcos, age 19. 1 week after the massacre, she publicly confronted President Calderón.
Mire, es poco lo que yo recuerdo. Y que si a él le mataran a un hijo, que él hasta debajo de las piedras lo buscaría, porque él sí tenía los medios y yo no.
The only way Edwin survived was to play dead. He took 11 bullets as he lay amongst his dead and dying friends. Crime, corruption and paranoia are so rife in Juarez that it's going to be difficult to get to the truth. Here, even the bravest are too frightened to talk.
If you could face the people that killed your sons, would you have anything to say to them? And if you did, what would it be?
Si los enfrentara, no, yo nomás. No sé qué decirle.
I'm in Juarez, Mexico, the city with the highest recorded murder rate on the planet. I'm trying to find out why the violence has spun out of control and why executions are carried out in such a brutal fashion.
This is just a brutal fact of what life is like here in Juarez. This is Sunday morning and 3 people are already dead. I mean, it's just gone 11. If we go by the averages, while we've been here, 6 more people will die before the sun goes down and 6 more will die through the night.
This execution has been carried out in a public place in broad daylight. It would appear to me that the ones pulling the triggers have very little to fear.
Guy's clearly been shot numerous times. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shells, cartridges, very close to the body. So imagine he's obviously been shot in the head as well. His jaw is actually, if you really want to know, his jaw has actually come off as well. And I would guess, looking at him, he's not that old at all. I'd say he's in his early 20s. Annalie, do you know what happened here? Why that man's dead? Do you know why?
No, pues no, quién sabe.
Do you live here?
¿Yo? Yo sí. Aquí en este barrio.
Are you shocked by that, or do you think that's quite normal?
Bastante normal, porque pues...
Normal, it's normal, huh?
Es normal. No se le hace raro a uno.
Doesn't,
no.
So have you got used to this? Have you got used to seeing dead people on the street?
Sí.
Most of the people that carry guns around here, aren't they involved in crime? Aren't they involved in trafficking or in extortion?
Sí, pues sí. Pero pues es que ahora están matando hasta mucha gente que pues ya no ni la debe ni la teme. Y ahora están matando mucha gente que pues no.
Aren't you scared living here? You scared?
Yo sí, ya me voy a ir a vivir por otro lado.
Where are you going to live?
Pues quién sabe. A un lado donde haya menos violencia que aquí.
If I'm going to understand what's really going on here, I need to talk to someone inside a cartel. Clearly, this will not be easy, but it is known that many of the gangs in Juarez are hired to carry out their hits. I'm heading back to the barrio where yesterday a 70-year-old man and a bus driver was shot dead.
You tell me what it's like living in the barrio.
Acá de aquel lado ya, ahí desde que nací pues siempre me acoplé con los chavos.
These boys claim to be in a gang and are initially happy to talk.
So what do you do as a part of the gang? Do you sell drugs?
Pues de todo, yo pienso que de todo un poco, desde meterse y asaltar una tienda cercana, estar de vendedor, marihuana, cocaína, piedra.
Do you use weapons to protect the area that you sell drugs and to protect your lives?
Sí.
And who makes the money out of the drug sales?
Pues por el patrón, ¿no? Porque estés trabajando.
And is that boss head of the cartel, or does he operate for the cartel?
Simples, ¿no? Sí. Pues trabajadores nomás.
That's all the time, boys. Every time a car goes past or someone's listening, you think someone's listening in, you're looking over your shoulder. Are you worried about talking to us?
Pues sí.
What could happen to you?
Pues sí, pues puedes perder tu vida en cualquier momento, ¿no?
At this point in the interview, some locals start to take notice and the boys get really nervous.
There's more and more people coming, so we should think about stopping. Okay, last question. There was a shooting of a bus driver and an old man. Do you know anything about why the bus driver was killed? And why the old man was killed?
Es parte de la vida cotidiana, que ya está todo el problema tan complejo y a diario vemos de perdida unos 20, ¿no? Unos 10 de perdida, 15 homicidios diarios.
They're very, very paranoid, those young boys, and quite scared. And also they said that the guy that controls this barrio, the guy that works for the cartel, has just driven past as well, which had made them more paranoid than they already were. So we're calling a halt to this now and hopefully getting out of here safely. As another night approaches, we're heading across town to rendezvous with the ambulance service. On the way there, there's chaos and congestion outside a local school. The police have cordoned off the road.
Someone to my left, just a bit upset. Someone's obviously witnessed it to my left there. She's crying, she's very upset. There's a car up there, it's been smashed. It's been rammed and then probably attacked by the looks of it.
The police tell us the car has been rammed and 3 passengers shot dead.
They've chosen to hit the vehicle outside the school. Had there been kids, we don't know yet, but there could have been kids playing out there, and another example of how cheap life is in this city.
I can't help wondering who the victims were and what was the reason for their murder. It's already dark by the time I join Astrobal, who works in a hospital by day and as a paramedic by night.
Do people move out of the way for you here, yeah? Sometimes not, huh?
He is often first on the scene and has witnessed more than his fair share of bloodshed.
I've noticed you're wearing these goggles. Why are you wearing those?
It's for my own safety. Sometimes you go to the guy, it's a lot of blood, and you don't have nothing. But sometimes you
covered in blood.
Yeah.
So how dangerous is Juarez? How many times have you picked up people who've been shot?
Between 10 and 20 every day.
Every day?
Yeah. This is like a 2.5 years they start to kill people.
Since the war on the cartels started, yeah?
Yeah, but before they just kill you and they make a dig and they put it there. Not like now.
They publicly kill people.
Yeah. When this violence start, they put it in the paper. This guy is going to be killed. This, and they start to kill.
Go to the list of people.
Yeah. And they say, for the people who don't believe.
Over the last few years, Astrobal has documented some of the gruesome sights that he has witnessed. As we arrive at our first incident, I prepare myself for the worst.
By the petrol station, aqui.
We've been called to an amusement arcade in the centre of town where there's been a shooting.
So what happened? What's going on?
The one man is there inside. His wife is in the police car. She saw all the guys came here and killed the husband.
The husbands.
And she saw everything.
So she's in a state shock.
Yeah.
In the short time that I've been in Juarez, 26 people have already been killed. The streets may be flooded with police, but 95% of the murders committed here go unsolved. And I'm no clearer as to understanding who's killing who. The city of Juarez is in the midst of a bloody drugs war. It's the most dangerous city on the planet, and I'm here to find out just why so many people are dying. We've been summoned to the Attorney General's office to witness a ritual PR display. These 8 men have been arrested in connection with several armed kidnappings. Drugs, firearms, and large amounts of cash were recovered when they were arrested.
So basically, this is a public display by the law enforcement agency here to show the public what a good job they're doing.
The truth is that these are just the foot soldiers of this war. The big fish, the powerful cartel bosses, tend to operate with impunity. The cartels operate like the mafia and are known for their brutality, but they are often seen as Robin Hood figures by those who live in the impoverished barrios. One of the best-known cartel leaders is Joaquin Guzman, known as El Chapo. Jailed for 20 years, his power and influence enabled him to escape prison just days before his extradition to the US. Despite a $5 million reward, there seems little public desire for his recapture. The situation here is complex, and there are no easy answers.
We're sort of halfway through our trip here, and the continuous thing that we're all aware of is that the cartels have an incredible hold over not only this city, but all of Mexico. People in the barrios know where they are with the cartels. These people will kill you if you step out of line, but these people will also look after you, and these people are also your people. They're from where you are, whereas the administrations, the governments, these are politicians, these are from a different class. If you're a poor kid growing up in the barrio, you're never going to become mayor, you're never going to become prime minister, but you might become El Chapo.
I've been in Juarez just over a week and have some more questions I want to put to the mayor.
people on the street say the real mayor of Juarez is El Chapo. Do you want to answer that question?
No. The real decisions as to what the city needs, and we're working on that, get made here at this office.
The mayor is keen to convince me that his policy of flooding the city with police and troops is turning the tide in the war against the cartels.
The flow of cocaine is no longer coming in through Juarez. It is deviating through here. Juarez is becoming a very well-patrolled city, and we're pushing the flow of drugs outside Juarez, but unfortunately part of it comes here, part of it goes to the west.
Like you say, the traffickers are a bit like water, they'll take the easiest route.
They'll take the easiest route, and the city next door to us only has 7 police officers. We used to have 1,600 police officers. We now have 11,000 police officers and soldiers patrolling the city. It's a large number.
Sorry, just to interrupt, but I find that absolutely stunning that there were so many policemen here and the army that 44 people have been killed in the time that I've been here, in a week. I mean, that's a greater number than the people who've been killed in Baghdad this week.
Yes, there are several factors that have to do with that. We have, unfortunately, in Juarez, criminal gangs that were formed in U.S. jails. They were deported into Juarez because 100,000 people a year are deported into Juarez. About 7,000 of them are hardcore criminals. And those criminals came in, they formed gangs, and those groups started fighting for control of the retail sale of drugs in the city. And that's the violence we're seeing right now. It's not necessarily the violence between the groups of organized crime. It is now down to those groups fighting.
Street level.
Yes.
The mayor claims that saturating the city with police has seriously disrupted the cartel's influence. I'm yet to be convinced. I'm about to enter the maximum security prison in Juarez. While the security on the outside is formidable, to keep the peace on the inside, the inmates are allowed to control certain areas themselves. This prison is home to 1,200 violent criminals. There are 3 major gangs here, and each one is affiliated to a cartel.
How are the gangs divided? Where are they, geographically?
Identificadas con los aztecas.
The Aztecas gangs are here, yeah?
Sí.
So they're over in this block here, yeah?
Sí, están controladas ahí.
Right.
En este lado tenemos el área de los mexicles que ya
The Mexicles is the other gang. They're over here. So they're divided by what? 100 meters, maybe 80 meters. And where are the assassins, the artista assassinos?
Está hacia la parte de atrás.
They're over here, over there, yeah?
Sí.
The policy of letting the gangs run their own sections has proved controversial. I'm going into a compound totally controlled by the Aztecas, a gang formed in a US jail in the 1980s. They're affiliated to the Juarez Cartel. The Aztecas are said to be responsible for hundreds of brutal killings.
Buenos días. Buenos días. So this is the Azteca part of the prison. So, buenos días. So we walked through the door. Like many prisons, there's a hierarchy going on. We've already been spotted, well clocked. Gracias. We've been given a companion to walk with him. So basically, the person's in charge of this. Once you come through that door, ultimately, prisoners take control of what comes in and what goes out. Mucho gusto. Mucho gusto.
Like many of the inmates here, Jesus Garcia joined a gang when he was very young, and pretty soon found himself in serious trouble.
How much does the Aztecas mean to you? Is it everything to you?
No sé, mi familia.
So family?
Family.
Would you do anything for them?
Sí, lo que sea. Lo que sea.
You would, yeah? So if they asked you to kill somebody, would you do it?
Claro que sí.
Claro. Can you tell me why you're in prison right now?
Homicidio. Homicidio.
Murder?
Yeah.
Do you know how old will you be when you get out?
Hace 41 years. 41.
That's a long time.
Mucho tiempo. Aquí se quedó. Este lugar me robó la juventud. Me robó mi juventud y mi familia. Por eso ahora mi familia es esto. Y mi juventud tengo que vivir aquí adentro.
Jesus will be free from prison one day, but the Aztecas will always have a hold over him. Being behind these bars may ultimately have saved his life, because for him, this prison is probably the safest place to be in this violent city.
This basically is a prison within a prison run by the prisoners for the prisoners. You take a look around here at the moment with the white picket fencing, music in the background, the sun shining. And as you can see, they're allowed to bring their girlfriends in, or their wives, and their children. Depends on your opinion on what prison should be like. You know, a lot of the people here, particularly the Aztec members and the associates, have obviously been very, very violent people, and are still probably very, very violent people. But it's very odd in terms of the fact that, you know, 20 metres that way, all around this bit, there's enough hardware to start a small wall. If you didn't know what was beyond these walls, you'd be very confused. You might even think you might be on holiday somewhere.
But appearances can be deceptive. Only last month, there was an investigation into the links between the gangs that exist inside these walls and the execution of 2 American citizens right outside the mayor's office.
3 people with ties to the U.S. consulate in Mexico have been killed in drug-plagued Ciudad Juarez. Officials say their baby was in the back seat of the car and survived the shooting and is now in the custody of Mexican social services.
The Azteca gang was widely suspected of carrying out this hit. This suggests to me that the cartels are still in control of the streets of Juarez and have little fear of their American neighbors. I'm in Juarez, Mexico, where on average 6 people are killed every day in a drugs war that is destroying the city. The killing in Juarez does not stop, and once again, there are reports of a man gunned down just a few blocks away.
If one body is the only body, that will bring, in the time that we've been here, to 45 bodies in around about 5 days. Here. It is 20 past 5 on a Monday afternoon. Most people are on their way home after a day's work, and you know, another life over. There's a family members turned up as well. You see on the far side. You know, the thing that even we as a crew are getting used to turning up and seeing dead bodies like this. I mean, the reaction from some people are staring, but most people are just going about their their daily routine, you know. It's a Monday afternoon, people want to get home and have their dinner and forget the day's work they've just had. But for somebody in some other family, you know, lives have changed forever.
My visit to Juarez has shown me human cruelty on an unprecedented scale. But the picture I've got remains incomplete, because one side of this war appears to be above the law. At enormous risk to his personal safety, we've managed to gain an interview with an ex-cartel member.
St. Clap 1.
I'm fascinated to know how a cartel operates and to gauge just how much power and influence they wield.
How big is the cartel that you work for?
Okay. Es grandísimo el cártel, lo conforman cerca de 27 miembros, arriba, apenas arriba, cerca de 14 países, tanto Estados Unidos, Centroamérica, México, Colombia, Canadá. Hay organizaciones que llegan a ser mundiales.
It is that organized.
Bastante. Es una organización fantástica. Trabaja como reloj suizo, perfecto.
Let's talk specifically about the United States of America. How did you get the drugs into the United States?
Vía terrestre, y una de las principales que se manejó mucho y se ganó mucho fue por medio de avión, por vía aérea. Y en Estados Unidos el 50 al 45% de las aerolíneas están miscuidas en este negocio, efectivamente.
That's a shocking statistic as far as I'm concerned. Let's talk about the violence. Can you explain to me why they torture people, they hack arms off and cut fingers off, put them in people's mouths? Why is it so violent?
Hay diferentes tipos de mensajes. Te mochan las manos, el mensaje es que no andes de ratero, no andes agarrando lo que no es tuyo. Cuando les mochan la lengua es porque andan hablando demasiado. Y no quiero que sea mi caso por estar hablando esto, ¿me? Estar platicando esto contigo. Ese es el detalle. Cada tipo de ejecución, cada tipo de crimen, en la escena, el crimen lleva un mensaje.
What are they actually fighting for?
Está miscuida en la drogadicción, es adicta, hay una lucha de carteles, dicen que hay dos, los que se están peleando el lugar, es por eso que hay tanta muerte, pero ahorita yo te puedo asegurar que son más de 5 carteles los que están peleando esta plaza de Ciudad Juárez.
So right now, there are 5 cartels fighting for control of Juarez.
Era por la que más se puede trabajar el tráfico de drogas y de armas, algo que no hemos tocado, el tráfico de armas. A cualquier parte, cualquier parte. Cultura de todo esto es la corrupción.
Can you give me some examples of the corruption? How does it happen?
Es una cadena. Se corre la voz internamente, en secreto. Ahí a veces hasta el que no es corrupto se hace corrupto por el dinero. El dinero corrompe, el dinero es el que los corrompe.
Did you ever have any contact with people in the United Kingdom?
En Europa es Londres, España.
So how does somebody from Juarez make a connection to sell cocaine in London?
Se envía gente, el mismo cartel envía gente hacia la ciudad de Londres, se abre una plaza, se empieza a vender droga, empieza la corrupción, llega la policía, se le compra, se le propone.
The police in London know?
Sí.
How much money did you accrue while you were in the cartel? How much money did you actually earn yourself?
Muchísimo. En cuentas de banco y cuando ya se acabó todo este negocio me rastrearon y los perdí, pero era cerca de $780,000.
So can you tell me exactly what happened once the police arrested you?
Fuimos 2 personas, me llevaron a un lugar aislado, un cuarto. Fue la tortura, quitaron, como te dije, pinzas, me quitaron uñas de los pies con pinzas, agujas entre las yemas de los dedos, descargas eléctricas en mis testículos, agua mineral con chile piquín, limón y sal por la nariz. La tortura duró aproximadamente un día, 0 información. Ya después que no vieron que no había futuro en su investigación y ya fue cuando ya estuve preso.
When you were in prison, how long did you serve and were you protected by the cartel inside the prison?
estuvieron mandando dinero a mi familia mientras estuve en la cárcel. Iba a purgar una condena de 12 años y estuve nada más 6 meses.
And how comes you only did 6 months?
Vuelvo a lo mismo, corrupción.
I'm shocked by the scale of the cartel's operation and that the corruption spread so far beyond Mexico's borders.
There is corruption in the United States. It's not as bad as the corruption in Mexico. If we have maybe 20% corrupt officials in Mexico, maybe in the U.S. there's 2% or 3%, but there's still corruption.
That's all you need to get...
Exactly.
If they're the right officials.
As long as the United States is the biggest consumer of cocaine and drugs in the world, we're going to have a flow of drugs into the United States.
Juarez is currently the most dangerous city on the planet. Last year, 2,500 people were killed here. In the short period of time that we've been here, 62 people have been murdered here. The main reason for that is that this city sits on the border between the largest consumer and the biggest supplier of illegal narcotics in the world. But the border just doesn't separate two very different countries and two very different cultures. It's also where the third world of South and Central America collides with the first world. It's where a gram of cocaine quadruples in price. It's estimated that last year, the drugs trafficked through Mexico into the United States were worth $40 billion. With such vast amounts of illegal money being made, corruption and organized crime has flourished. Corruption in Mexico, instigated by the cartels, has destabilized the entire country. And on the other side of the border last year, the American government arrested over 120 corrupt border officials. During my time in Juarez, I've honestly been surprised at how open and friendly the ordinary people are here, and their generosity will stay with me for a long time. But I have to say, the inhuman cruelty and violence that I've witnessed on the streets here will stay with me for the rest of my life. As I leave for home, I can't help thinking that it's just all too easy to blame all the problems here on the corruption in Mexico. And so, I have a question for you. If you were offered either the bullet or the cash, which one would you take?